Action.
Action. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So our next wine is going to be Italy. We're going to Italy. So this is going to be Chianti Classico Riserva, and this is going to be from Ricasoli. One of the cool things, and I'll borrow the bottle from Joe really quick. I did this wine, or I had this wine at another tasting, and somebody said, "Well, where's the rooster?" At least they knew that on Chianti Classico we're supposed to have the rooster. So, DOCG, right, correct. And they knew that part, but one of the things that the consortium, the Chianti Classico Reserve, or the Chianti Classico Consortium, has now said that you can put the rooster on the back of the label. You can put it on the front of the label if you want to, because what was crazy was that the Chianti producers were talking about the fact that they're trying to make the bottles look better. They're trying to make the labels look better and make everything more inviting. So when you're sticking a crazy rooster up on the top up here, maybe not, maybe we won't do that. So the consortium basically said we can put it on the back, and so that's where the rooster is for this bottle. Why this bottle is, or why this winery is significant, so significant in the world of Italian wine, is because they basically were the ones that wrote the recipe for Chianti. This winery has been producing wine in Italy since 1411, which makes them the oldest operating winery in all of Italy, and I believe it makes them the fourth oldest family-owned business in the world right now. Is it the fourth? I'm going to cheat. Fourth oldest. And what's crazy is after 30 years of experiment, a gentleman by the name of Baron Benito Ricasoli basically came up with the recipe that they were going to use for Chianti. And it's actually really close to this recipe as well. At one time, the craziest thing about Chianti and Chianti Classico was that you actually had to blend a little bit of white wine into Chianti to kind of bring it down, sort of cut it a little bit. We don't have those problems anymore. This is also from a single estate that Ricasoli owns, and it is such an important estate for these guys that they dedicate one whole Chianti Classico Riserva to this wine. They basically don't blend these grapes into anything else. It just all goes into this Chianti. They also think so much of this Chianti that they age it for 18 months in large Slovenian tanks, little barrels, and then they also age a little bit of it in French oak casks, and then it's all married together. But to age it for 18 months in oak is pretty amazing, and it just lends itself to being smooth. Again, being maybe a little bit more modern in style, doing it that way. Then after that, it's rested in the bottle. These guys rest in bottle for 6 months before it's released. So what you're getting is a wine that's ready to drink and not a wine that you have to lay down. It's a 16, yeah. And so this is going to be 90% Sangiovese, 5% Merlot, and then 5% Cagnola. And when you really get into the world of Chianti, you're going to see Cagnola in quite a bit of wines. It was actually one of the original blending grapes, and people really like Cagnola, and it grows. It can be propagated really easy as well. I actually heard a myth that, who knows if it's a myth or not, but for a little while in Tuscany they were actually talking about growing Cagnola rather than growing Sangiovese, just because Cagnola was easier to propagate at the time. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's these guys. These guys are basically the fathers of Chianti, and they're the ones that came up with the recipe, which it's pretty cool to know that somebody's been working at something since 1411. They have a big, huge castle. They have a huge estate, and it's a fantastic wine. What do you guys think?
This one is probably my favorite out of the three. I really
My
like
favorite.
this one. What's that?
My favorite.
Yeah,
I
I
like the white. It's my favorite red, but
It's a little dry.
it's lighter.
In the Spanish.
Dry,
Yeah.
light,
A little
smooth,
drier,
easy
still
drinking.
light, smooth.
But the one thing I was going to point out is that all Chiantis are Sangioveses, but not all Sangioveses are Chiantis.
Correct.
Because Chianti is the region
Correct.
within Italy that it grows. Like if you say, you say you have a Burgundy, you have a Bordeaux, those are the names. A Champagne is the name of the region where it grows.
And the Chianti's here and the Chianti Classico is
More focused
Yeah.
area.
focused area.
Right.
Right,
Exactly.
and that's what the DOCG has to do with, and the rooster has to do with. It's showing its pedigree.
Right. Correct.
That
And at one point, the rooster was the symbol for all of Chianti. And as Chianti Classico sort of got to be more specialized, basically the rooster was then put for Chianti Classico only. And they're the only ones that can have the rooster on it now. I believe there's 6 or 7 other Chianti regions as well. If you talk to a Chianti Classico producer and you'll ask them, well, why don't they import the other ones? Like, you'll see some Colli Senesi out there, you'll see regular Chianti, but beyond that, you really don't see that many others. They get brought into the United States. And the funniest thing that one of the Chianti Classico producers told me, I said, why don't we see more? And he said, because they're no good. Just have Chianti Classico. So I said, okay. He goes, I'll just make it easy. Just drink Chianti Classico. And he's like, you'll never go wrong if you drink our wines. And again, still family owned to this day from 1411, which is pretty amazing actually. Somebody didn't screw it up somewhere along the line. So I love this wine. I love this producer, and the lineup today couldn't have been any better, I don't think.
Yeah, and I was going to say again too, you've been hearing this over the last couple of months, that as sucky as it's had to be closed and to be doing a lot of these tastings in video and stuff like that, the reality is COVID does have a few perks in which we get some better wines that we wouldn't normally be able to get for wine club pricing, because not as many people are purchasing wines right now. So they get a little bit more excited when we're willing to buy it.
Yeah.
And so this is again one of those wines that we probably wouldn't have normally been able to bring you.
Yeah.
But so it is a special treat.
It really is, and I appreciate you guys doing the wine club with us, and I really do, and all the support and everything else. I really do. I appreciate it all.
So thank you guys very much.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
the wines from Wine Club, and
Cheers.
stay safe.
Cheers.
And we'll see you
Happy
next
4th
time.
of July.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully next month.
Yeah. Cheers.